So we talked about a guy who mysteriously died of mysteriousness. We talked about a guy that just got up and disappeared, and we had no idea where he is. So on this episode of Weird Stuff, we are going to talk about a guy who just appeared out of nowhere, and no one knows who he is. So let's let's start with the story. So on October 31st of 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto introduced himself to the world when he published the white paper which described the workings and philosophy of a new digital currency entitled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. On January 2009, Nakamoto launched Bitcoin's Genesis block, which contained the first 50 Bitcoins. Bitcoin has led the way in the cryptocurrency explosion over the past decades, but the one question remains: who is Satoshi Nakamoto? Nakamoto is said to have begun working on Bitcoin's code in the mid 2007 area, registering the domain bitcoin.org on August 2008, communicating mostly through discussion boards and emails until April 23rd, 2011, when he mentioned that he had moved on to other things. This was also during the time of WikiLeaks, which he commented on. Nakamoto is estimated to having owned around 1 million bitcoins, potentially making him one of the richest people in the world. However, it is unknown what kind of effect it would have on the market if all that Bitcoin was cash. At one point, Nakamoto had a profile in 2012 that claimed he was a 37-year-old man who lived in Japan. Birth date April 5th, 1975. Grammar used in the correspondence suggests that Nakamoto may be a British man, while a study of timestamps of his posting suggests that he most likely does live in Japan. There have been many suspects proposed to be the real Nakamoto, everyone from Elon Musk to a South African cartel boss. In 2024, HBO released a documentary that claimed crypto pioneer Peter Todd was Nakamoto. So I just watched that this weekend. That's why I brought up this subject. What do you guys think? Why hide yourself from being this famous? What do you think?
I think Satoshi, that was his name, right? Satoshi
Yeah.
is Zorro. So there you go. Is there a Bitcoin?
What?
What?
A Bitcoin? Because there's a Bitcoin bike. It's the.
I'm sure there is.
I thought you said bike. Like,
yeah, that's what I heard too.
I'm sure there is. There's a coin for everything.
Yep.
As far as who he is, I have no idea. No guesses. No guesses.
You want to go ahead, Michael?
I was just going to say, but whenever Joseph brought up the documentary, that was going to be my first question. Is like, why has no one made a documentary? Apparently they have. Because I was like, you bringing this up, I was like, I have no idea anything about Bitcoin. I just heard the name, was like, oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, I'd be interested to see that documentary. But apart from it, I mean, this is either going to be a time traveler or aliens, right? Like someone who knows stuff that we don't. Like this is just like. Who does this as a hobby? I'm gonna code Bitcoin for 3 years and then abandon it, but keep 1 million of it, but then not say who I am, but then be rich forever and just here's one. I could use 100 grand today. There's another one. Like
a time traveler. So you think Satoshi is that Dieter guy or that John Dieter guy, or whatever his name was?
No idea.
I don't know who that is. That sounds familiar, but Dieter.
He is on the internet, he was a time traveler. He posted about being something like that. Posted about being a time traveler, and he had all this like information from what
like
came to be.
Anime that's based on that stuff.
Well, as for who he is, I mean,
John Teeter, isn't that his name? Okay, never mind.
I mean, the thing is about Bitcoin is that it's completely anonymous. So he might still have that much Bitcoin. Well, maybe not 1 million, because I don't think there's that many in the open market right now. But like as Bitcoin, like for selling Bitcoin, the way that it's designed to be is anonymous. So you could have thousands and thousands of Bitcoins and sell them off and it be untraceable. That's kind of the point. But for being like that secretive, I mean, I would only assume it's because he doesn't want people to like hurt him because there's a lot of a lot of countries out there that don't like the idea of having an untraceable currency. So I don't know. It's smart just to go away. Probably made his
people who wanted to get the money from him.
Right, exactly.
It's a very dangerous
well, that's the thing is that it's so, and he might be dead. Who knows? Somebody might have killed him for it. There's no real telling. But that's the thing about Bitcoin is that it's so out there that people don't really understand how it works. So
it said it'd probably make him like the 14th richest guy in the world or something. So here's one for you, Jared. Satoshi. Some have theorized that Satoshi is a reference to Pokemon, the first trainer.
Oh, Ash?
Yeah. So that documentary I watched was interesting. This Peter Todd guy, he's kind of a character because he's constantly saying, "Oh yeah, I am Satoshi Nakamoto," and and then he's like, "No, I'm not," and then so he's totally playing with the guy the whole time.
Is this like credible? Like, what was that Banksy documentary a few years back that was like completely full of BS?
I don't know how I felt about the documentary. I don't think I was it kind of leaned too much on the Peter Todd guy because it didn't give us too many other suspects. It kind of seemed like the director just wanted it to be this guy. But there was some interesting stuff. So this guy, he was 15 around the time that Bitcoin started. And he was working on a cryptocurrency of his own. And the people who've like read the original source code for Bitcoin say that it was probably not a professional, that it seemed like it was kind of from an amateur. So kind of leaning towards maybe this 15-year-old guy did it. And then another interesting thing was there's the only way to destroy Bitcoin is to burn it, what they call burning it, which you do like publicly, and you have to. It's done like publicly, and you have to like show people how you've destroyed Bitcoin. And he had I don't know if it was a post or something that he said that he's an expert on burning, cryptocurrency. So that was like, oh, okay. So that was kind of interesting. Maybe it was that guy. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know. You guys have to check it out sometime and see what you guys think of it.
Just a fact checked. It is John Teeter. I always thought it was Dieter.
Yeah. So he's the guy that came back in an old car, right?
Yeah.
Because he wanted this old IBM model, because for some reason those old IBM models could do stuff that newer computers couldn't. So he started predicting the end of the world and stuff, but none of them came true. He was people that support him say, well, it's because he diverted the timeline when he revealed all this stuff. So two guys we don't know. It's weird to think a guy would not like, because if this was Elon Musk, he would totally be like, yeah, I did it.
I did that in my sleep.
Yeah.
Smoking my joint.
So it's interesting why this guy remains anonymous. Bitcoin, because the documentary kind of goes into the philosophy too of what they were doing, because they believe this one group that started, there's like two groups. This one group really believes in like the freedom of privacy. That's why they like Bitcoin. It's because it's harder for governments to track and stuff like that. It's not impossible, but it's harder. And then this other group is kind of just as anarchists, just kind of bring down the government stuff and like that. And like when Bitcoin first started, it had to do with like the Silk Road, which was how you bought drugs on the internet. So they kind of wanted to distance themselves from that. So it doesn't seem like that Nakamoto is an anarchist. It just seems like he values privacy. So maybe that's why he didn't want to show the world who he was. But maybe someday we will learn. All right, that's going to do it this time. Tell us your theories on Bitcoin and like, subscribe, and notify yourself for even more weird stuff. And we will talk to you later. Bye.